abuse of the judicial system, technicalities. You understand all of this.
Yeah.
Technicalities being thrown into court. Oh, you haven't obeyed Order 15, you know,
but Mr.
clause
Godon,
5 of the court, the procedures, the court procedures, the judicial procedures act, and so on and so forth. So that what then happens in court is that the judges suddenly become slaves to procedure rather than justice.
Okay.
And what then happens as a result is that people that should be in jail are swanning around, you know, in big agbadas and telling the rest of us how to live or how not to live our lives when they should be in jail.
Let me pick you up on one thing, because I'm still looking at this. This is what a lot of young Nigerians are talking about, and their perspective kind of like make one want to think. They are saying, there's an example here, I cannot read the whole lot of it, but there's an example here that if I was the chairman of a local government and somebody was alleged to have stolen money in my constituency, what should be the right thing to do? And the young person is saying that suspend the person just as the president has. It is not, the court will do their job. The police should be reported to. Whether they do their job or not, this person is suspended and then handed over to the police. Let the police do their job. If they don't, everybody will identify the fact that the police failed in their duty, the court system failed, and so on and so forth. Now the people in government that should start whatever it is we're doing in terms of fight against corruption and ensuring impunity is not allowed, are they not failing? Because we cannot go to the courts.
I'll tell you one point of failure very quickly. You have a situation in Nigeria where we have three arms of government. You have the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. Unfortunately, the legislature is failing us big time. Okay? First off, if you look at the Nigerian budget,
I'm sorry to break in.
Sorry, I must finish. Please, sorry.
Finish what you're saying.
If you look at the legislature, they get a disproportionate amount of Nigeria's resources on an annual basis. And for that money that they get, the input that we get from them into making society better is a joke. It's an absolute joke. Now, we're talking about fighting corruption here. And I mentioned earlier, and I don't think you quite understood the import of that the EFCC made an application for 4.7 billion naira, budget to be able to effectively carry out their duties of stopping corruption in its tracks. The House of Representatives threw it out. The same House
It seems you're mixing things up, because
I'm not
you
mixing
said
things up.
Judiciary
I am
is
not.
getting...
I'm getting there. Please, I'm examining first the legislature. I will get to the judiciary, and I will get to the executive too. Okay, the legislature have failed Nigerians. In that regard, because if you don't empower the anti-corruption agencies, if they can use the excuse that they don't have the resources to go after every corrupt person, then that's one failure over there. And the root cause of that failure is the people that failed to give them the resources when they had the power to. Instead of giving the anti-corruption agencies the money, they took 150 billion for themselves.
Give themselves.
For themselves. Now that's one issue. We are now going to talk about the judiciary. We mentioned earlier how it seems like there are some corrupt elements within the judiciary. And we see cases go to court that seem to be quite clear-cut. This man has dipped his hand in the treasury, he has taken money, and then they go to court, and you hear the lawyers for the defense making application after application after application.
And he's acquitted.
In court, the judge has absolute discretion. He's the king of that place. And he can legally stop any filibustering by the defense. But for whatever reason, we see a plethora of cases like that where people are taken to court. Sometimes it's some kind of collusion with the hamstrung anti-corruption agencies, law enforcement agencies, where they bring in watered down prosecutions, and then of course these people
not enough evidence.
Yes, not enough evidence, not enough forensic evidence, not enough anything, and they come to court, and then of course the thing is thrown out, and the guy starts swanning around, and perhaps he even goes back to office stronger than before. You remember the case of the pension thieves?
Oh.
The people that stole billions of naira belonging to people that have served this country. Whether diligently or not, they had served this country, and they deserve to have their pension. These guys went in, scooped out all the money, okay, and then they were taken to court and fined. A few measly 100,000 nairas. I mean, what is that? And yet, Nigerians did not come out on the streets.
I need to ask you a question.
Nigerians, excuse me, this is where Nigerians are feeling. Nigerians did not come out on the streets. The people whose pensions were stolen did not come out on the streets to protest.
Yeah.
They did not storm the court.
Yeah.
They did not go after the judge, okay, and say, look, you are a crook. If you are aiding crooks, then you must be a crook yourself, okay? We have a very, very serious case, in my opinion, okay, sometimes, of misguided militancy. I'll just stop there for now.
Okay, Dr. Ashiru, some people have said that our entire system is built to encourage corruption. When you say you're paying a man minimum wage of 18,000 naira, and he has a wife, he has 3 children, and you actually expect him to live on 18,000 naira? If you do, then obviously you're a fool. You know he's doing other things. You pay a policeman, what, 30,000 naira a month, and you say he should not be corrupt. He has to live. How are we expected to live on these meager salaries, and we say those people are corrupt? So what would you say to those who say that the entire system is built to encourage, and it's built on purpose to encourage corruption?
And some can take home more than President Obama annually.
I agree with those in that school of thought, 100%. And like I pointed out, I indicated that corruption is about the state. Who fixes this minimum wage? The state.
The legislature.
The state. I mean, as a student of politics, I don't do this, disaggregation. In fact, theoretically and practically speaking, long live the executive, the legislature is dead. The reason why people in the legislature are stealing money now is because they look at the executive arm of government and say, they do all the disbursement, and that's why when they are going on oversight function, they twist these ministries, departments, and agencies or MDAs, and twist them by whatever means to get money.
Yeah.
And it is because the executive is corrupt. That's why the legislature and the executive is towing the line. And there's a linkage. Governance is not about executive, legislature, no. Yeah, there are separation of powers amongst them, but this separation of power is not as watertight as most of us think that they are. If today the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria says, look, enough of corruption in this country, it will stop. And I mean it.
Or it will be done in the dark.
No, you see.
But now it's done openly.
Let's start with the minimum wage. Like you rightly pointed out, you are paying me 18,000 naira in a month, and you give me a gun to fight armed robber. From that 18,000, you are removing something from pension. Somebody in the pension office
taking some for
is
tax.
stealing the pension. Police. What are we talking about? If they can steal police pension fund and military pension, and we are still the way we are, so what are we talking about? So if I work all my life diligently and all that, and then somebody by signing off can steal all my money and get a pat on the back, then today I am working. And I see what is happening to pension, not only police pension, all the pensions, teachers, military, railway, name it. So why will I not receive my pension when I'm still working? And the way to receive the pension is to help myself as much as I can. Even in offices now, during Christmas, you see them, they will wrap one box and put it somewhere. You need anything, especially in government offices, you need anything that they call your attention to that box first. and then depending on what you do in the